So we had a.
Oh wait,
Go
I
ahead.
have
Go
to
ahead.
say something else. But the market in Georgetown, I pet a skunk.
Go ahead.
They had a vendor. It wasn't a vendor. It was just set up right. I think they rehab wildlife or something like that because they had a possum, a live possum, a skunk, and a box turtle is what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Just I didn't go inside their little booth, but there was this man that had a skunk and he was showing it to a kid and telling the kids, well, do you want to pet it? You can if you want. And I was walking by and I was like, there's a skunk right there. And Ruben was like, he wasn't very interested in it. And I was like,
Because it's a skunk.
it was a skunk, but I was like, I gotta go pet a skunk. When will I ever get a chance to pet a skunk? And so I went over there and I touched the skunk, and it's very coarse. The hair is very coarse, and so I got to pet a skunk.
Yeah, I was surprised at how calm it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought that it might try to bite at you or something.
Uh,
So
I
I
didn't even
just,
think about that.
yeah, I was like, nah, probably rabies, and then like it might spray you. I was thinking all of that stuff.
Yeah, I didn't even ask the man like, how did you tame it.
Yeah,
I did hear that he said that they found it when it was a baby, and I guess they rehabbed it, and so they were trying to let it go out into the wild, but it never left,
yeah,
and so they just took it in.
yeah,
I
yeah.
heard him say
But it is still a skunk. So I
that.
was like, none for me, please. I'll just watch her get sprayed, and I'll be like,
we'll just
we'll
see
be
all the
talking about it
we'll just see
with something on my nose.
all the skunks on the road on the way back.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So the
That
only
are
skunk
dead.
that I ever knew was Pepe Le Pew, and he was all right for a cartoon, but
Yeah.
you know, real life, I don't know if I'd ever want one as a pet.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's getting all adventurous, petting wildlife and just talking to people and just being sociable. It's like one thing that you'll notice. It's been a while since I lived in Austin, but when you go out to those areas, and especially in these farmers markets, like, everybody is just really cool and fun to be around. It's
Hmm.
like, and I don't know if everybody's from there. There could be people that are, traveling like us,
Yeah,
but
that.
it's always a good vibe. It's a real good atmosphere, and
Yeah, I
you
did
know,
notice that, and I noticed that uh, uh, everybody that had a setup, they would lock eyes with you, like
hmm
they wouldn't just say, "Hi, how are you?" like earshot so that you can hear. It's like they're looking at you, smiling at you, and they're like, "Hi." I was
hmm
it was pretty cool, that there like Ruben said, the vibe is just the atmosphere is just very welcoming and like peaceful, like everybody's getting along, and uh, at
yeah.
least there in that downtown
In
Georgetown.
that moment, and so we were there in Georgetown, but then across,
Mm.
30 20 miles down the road on I-35, they were rioting and protesting, right? And I actually wanted to go to the riot, not because we were
It
in
wasn't a
like,
riot, y'all, but it was a
it was a
protest.
protest. I call it a riot. So it was a protest. The No King. I didn't even know what that was.
Yeah,
No
me either.
King's protest, and
Protest.
me as a king who serves the King of King.
Uh huh.
I couldn't participate in that. It was a conflict of interest for me. But what I did want to do is I wanted to go just kind of be a fly on the wall. It's like kind of like Forrest Gump. Just
Mm.
like sitting there and watching this person, like, this is really important to you, huh? And then having you record me, and I'm just like, you know, pick
In
up
the
a pit
background.
in the background and just be a part of it. And everybody has their reasons and everybody has their right to
Yeah, you have
protest,
the right to
and
do that.
so I definitely encourage that. It doesn't matter what I feel about it. I just couldn't participate because I'm not the protesting type. I've never even sent back my food at a restaurant.
Yeah.
If they make it wrong or if it wasn't good, I don't blast them on online. I don't give bad reviews. I don't do none of
He
that
doesn't
stuff.
even get in a bad mood because of it. It's just like he's happy to eat whatever they gave him.
Yeah, that it was somebody else's dish or whatever, or there was hair in it. I've never. I mean, come on. I just don't. I don't get grossed out. I just like.
No.
I'm just a good person. Imagine that. I'm just a
Imagine
good person trying to practice what I preach, y'all. And but it's like
Yeah.
so I would be really out of place being a protester. But I would, those are things that are it's kind of interesting to me because it's like a almost like a social study, because
Mm.
there are people, either they're being provoked to protest, or they're somehow these people got so worked up, they're so passionate about that deal, that they feel like they have to go and protest. And if it wasn't for protests, we some of the the freedoms that we have, maybe we wouldn't have them right now. So
Mhm.
thank God for the people who care a little bit more than I do, because all I care about is taking care of me, taking care of my family, taking care of our business, and trying to be a good person to everybody that I come across to. And that's basically how I live my life. Um, you know, that's that.
That's
As
all
for
I'm gonna say about
as
that.
Forrest Gump says, that's all I'm going to say about that. Stay classy.